Hey, brothers and sisters. I wanted to read a portion from this article entitled Can One Man Save the World by Pete Garcia from Revelation310.net. As always, I will include the link for you guys to read this article. It's about a 17-minute read, but I wanted to take a portion of the article and read it for you because he is an excellent writer and has a lot of good things to say. So he says, Satan is not just content with destroying the United States. He wants to sacrifice her on the altar of the New World Order for the sake of global domination. Why else would he try so hard and for so long to destroy her, both from within and without? As for the lifespan of nations, the average is 250 years. Also of interest to this discussion is the time frame in which these NWO events seem to come about, which is roughly every 80 years or so. Thus, we are as follows: the Fourth Industrial Revolution, the cyber or physical age. We are 246 years old as a nation in 2022, and we are 81 years removed from our start in World War II, the last NWO event. We appear to be in the prime window for both the ending of our nation and an NWO event. No wonder the World Economic Forum is pushing so hard for a Great Reset, and the United Nations so hard for Agenda 2030. While most Americans seem to be in the dark about what is coming, the leaders of this world are of one mind in seeing the opportunities that will soon present themselves in the USA's global absence. What we want is a man of sufficient stature to hold the alliances of all people to lift us out of the economic morass into which we are sinking. Send us such a man, and be he God or devil, we will receive him. And that was a quote by Paul Henry Spaak, the NATO Security General in 1956. As the title alluded to, Satan has always had a man in place in every generation who will accept the offer Jesus rejected nearly 2,000 years ago, when Satan offered Jesus all the kingdoms of the world. Notice that Jesus didn't deny Satan's authority to give them. Rather, Jesus told him to pound sand, so to speak, for trying to get him to worship him. Nevertheless, Satan has been in the business of a king-making ever since. He's tried over and over with limited success because something, or rather someone, has always been holding him back. The restrainer, God the Holy Spirit through the church, has always presented some challenge to Satan's dream of global domination. And I also say to you that you are Peter, and on this rock, Peter's confession that Jesus was the Christ, I will build my church, and the gates of Hades shall not prevail against it. And I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. You see, when true believers pray, and that prayer aligns with God's agenda for kings and kingdoms, Satan and his plans will either be bound or thwarted. I'm not trying to sound like one of those apostate name it and claim it wackos on television, but our prayers are powerful, even if we don't see the fruits of it right away. Nevertheless, God wasn't ready to allow Satan to take over the world just yet, because other things needed to take place first. The age of the church to wind down, the rebirth of Israel, geopolitical alignments, and modernization, etc. From the Caesars to Hitler, Satan has used many people to achieve his goals of both consolidating his power and wealth, as well as persecuting the church. Every time Satan persecutes the church, it spread. Every time he tried to corrupt it, either through apostates or the faithful remnant started new elsewhere, even though Satan failed each time, he used his failures in ultimately building his coming kingdom. Satan's NWO will be controlled by the beast and the confederation of 10 kings. These will be answerable to the false prophet and the Antichrist, who in turn answers to Satan. Just because Satan knows he cannot stamp out the church this side of the rapture doesn't mean he's just going to sit on his hands and wait until his time comes. No, he is actively and aggressively preparing his kingdom because he knows one day very soon the trifecta of prophetic variables will all be in place and he needs this horror show ready to go. The right man, the right time, the right place. God bless.